I am going to welcome to the stage my partner in crime, Arohi Pathak, who's the Deputy Director of the AFL-CIO Technology Institute, and also really the mover and shaker behind putting this forum together, the day-to-day grind of making sure it happened. I want to have you all give her a round of applause. There's a great team that's worked on it, but Arohi has been right in the middle of it. We'll also hear from Sarah Elmaleh from SAG-AFTRA, Elena Newman from Unite Here, and third worker not on my bullet-pointed list. Oh, Sandy Redding from the Nurses Association. I really apologize, you were on the second page of my list at page break. So I want to welcome you to the stage. I'm really excited to hear your stories and how you're leading in the workplace and how you're going to help us move and shake this movement into a powerful place. Thanks, everyone.
Hello, everyone. We are acutely aware that we stand between you and your drinks. But this is going to be a fun panel. So thank you, Amanda, for those kind comments. My name is Arohi Pathak. I'm the Deputy Director of the Tech Institute. And I don't have to tell anyone in this room that really members are the linchpin of our work, right? At the Tech Institute, everything that we do is in service of our members to ensure that all working Americans have dignity, safety, and economic security in their jobs, even as tech impacts us and disrupts our work in ways we have never even imagined. Our members' fights are our fights, and when our members win, we all win. So today, it is my pleasure to share the stage with members to hear their stories and their perspectives, and to really understand what you as members go through, the challenges, the fights in your jobs, in your industries, and how you overcome them. So with that, let me introduce my fellow panelists. Sandy Redding, at the very end, is a registered nurse, also the president of California Nurses Association and National Nurses Organizing Committee, and the VP of National Nurses United. Sarah Elmaleh, who is sitting right beside me, is the Interactive Media Agreement Negotiating Committee Chair at SAG-AFTRA, and Elena Newman, in the middle, is a guest room attendant at Mandalay Bay and the executive board member of Unite Here Local 226. So let's get started. Okay. Elena, I am going to start with you. So we have all heard about how today's summit is heavily supported by Unite Here's hospitality workers. We've bumped into them at the restaurants downstairs. We bumped into them in the hotel corridors. Talk to us a little bit about the impacts of the tech industry, the impacts of workforce technology in the hospitality industry.
Well, first of all, thank you, and good afternoon to all the union, especially 226 and 165. Yes, I am a guest room attendant known as a housekeeper and a culinary union member for 20 years. And I would like to take this opportunity to say that we just won a 5-year new contract, which is, I'm so proud of it. So when we were getting ready to go on strike, we won the best contract ever, which is we have a huge history wage increase and much better technology rights contract, which is even more job security. For a housekeeper, when we were trying to implement the technology, we, housekeeper, felt that we were so scared that we will lose our job. A lot of us stressing. When we go home, we're so tired because the smartphone that the company trying to implement and distributing to all of us guest room attendants. The smartphone tell us what to do next, which room to clean next. and mostly it's vacant, dirty rooms. Now, as a guest room attendant, if I clean vacant, dirty room every single day, I clean 8 large suite rooms. Every single day you have checkout, meaning your body hurts. Because we are used to it when we have a paper assignment, which is way back then we have paper list of rooms, that we can do our own sequence. We do checkout, and then after that, occupied rooms. We have our own sequence and pace of work. And that way, we will not be so tired all the time. Now, let me tell you what the guest room attendant do. Every morning, we load our cart with amenities, linen, chemicals. And after that, we go out pushing cart to start ready. We clean bathrooms, window vent, AC vent, carpet aging, mopping the floor, just name it. They think it's an easy job. The company thinks it's an easy job. But then, we fought. All of us, guest room attendant across Las Vegas Strip, we document all the issue that we are having with the smartphone. We stood up, we stand up. When company want to train us regarding smartphone, all of us, guest room attendant, are fired up. Yes, smartphone doesn't clean rooms. We clean rooms. Where in the world they can find a smartphone that clean rooms? We clean the rooms. Okay. So when companies see that we stood up, they back up a little bit. But we have to do every morning in our employee dining room, do delegation, rally, say our voice, table hopping. Make sure we organize everyone. In that way, even though they implement the smartphone, and we can we can decide which one to do next. We are not so tired when we get home, and then we can take care of our family. But company doesn't think like that. They always think, okay, do this and that. It is a hard fight. I'm so thankful. Thank God we have union. Yes. Now, when we fought for this technology, we fought hard, and we win stronger than we ever have them on year 2018. Right now, it's a very strong one because we decide which room to clean. Because if the smartphone decide which one to clean, they will send us to different floor, different wing. Imagine pushing that heavy cart with full of stuff, running here and there. Where are you going to get your energy to finish your credit? Does a smartphone do that? No? Now, we ask the same question to the company. If they can do better than us, it's our pleasure. They can do our rooms. Since we told the company that all the workers are smarter than the smartphone. I remember, I have to say this, I'm dying so hard. When technology is down, what they do? They just sit in the office and look at each other. because they can't log in to see their email. So much for their technology. And we housekeeper, we know what to do without the technology. So, for this new contract that we have, new contract, and I'm so proud of it, we fought hard. It's the best thing happened to us here in Las Vegas Strip. You know, when we are getting all the data to fight with the company, we do leaflets. Imagine coming to the work 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, doing leaflets, talking to our coworkers. Make sure we have to fight this technology. If not, it will burn us out. Machine burn out, it overheat. So, when we demand to the company that they should, when the smartphone they implement, we demand that they should do it the way we work on the paperless. So we can do sequence. We can decide which room we can do. And guess what? It takes time, but we won. We won. In fact, we won room reduction, credit reduction. When technology control us, we, the worker, we don't feel good. When workers take over, what we get? All stress. But we didn't let that happen. For me, fighting with technology so we won't be burned out, we don't lose our job, so we can get home to our family not so tired. Imagine my feet hurt, my back hurt. All of that issue. I mean, you have no time for your family because all you need to do when you get home, okay, I'm tired, right? But then, workers are very smart. That's all I can say. And we turn that into power. A power of union. Thank you. Did I answer your question? Maybe it's a long answer.
Elena, thank you so much for your heartfelt words, your powerful testimony. The reason we're all here today is to join you in that fight. And thank you for your leadership and for showing us that we never give up.
Thank you with all the support, and we're so proud of it. Thank you.
Sandy, turning to you. So quality healthcare is a critical need for all people, especially when people are sick, when they're in pain, when they don't know what's going on with themselves. And we've heard so much about how technology is impacting the healthcare industry, but I'd like to hear from your words, or I'd like to hear from your perspective, I should say, or in your own words, what are some of the challenges that you and your peers have been facing around technology in the healthcare workspace? How is that impacting the quality of care and the services that you provide?
Well, thank you for asking, and just let me tell everybody first, you have nurses at the bedside, so no matter what I tell you, we're going to protect you, because you get between a nurse and her patient, and we're a force to be reckoned with, just saying. So I've been a nurse for 39 years. I work in the operating room and have worked multiple other floors as well, or a couple other floors. But the question was technology. And just like Maya said, technology can be good or bad, depending on who's using it, how they're using it, why they're using it, right? And we're pretty smart. We're critical thinkers too. Yes, we're caring and compassionate, and that is a critical component of our care and your healing. And everybody in this room is either going to be sick or injured or know somebody that is. So this stuff is really important, right? We have, and thank God we have a union, yes, right? Just like all of you in this room. We had an issue, and I'm just going to give I'll give an example of what can happen with technology. And fortunately, we do have language in our contract. We continue to evolve, just like others have said today, to put that language in the contract to protect patients. And it's critical, especially for our patients, technology. I'm sure you all want a functioning heart monitor, but you also want to have a nurse to read it, right? Not just some AI thing saying, oh, they had a heart attack. We've seen that multiple times, and there is no heart attack. It takes a trained eye to see that that's not the case. So I'll give you one giant corporation that the nurses took on. And this just goes to show that we can all do this. Kaiser decided to do a program that we called Home All Alone. And yeah, it's like that. Remember that Macaulay Culkin thing with your face like that? Yeah, that's kind of how it is. So Kaiser decided that they would try a pilot. And that pilot meant that, for instance, someone would come to the emergency room. And I'm just going to simplify it. It's not really this simple, but it ends up being this way for the patient, right? Patient comes to the emergency room. The doctor wants to admit them to the hospital for 24/7 care because that's what they require. When you have 24/7 care, that means the nurse is constantly rounding. She's watching you, whether you see us or not. We want to make sure that we check any subtle changes that can lead to a decline in bad outcomes. And we take note of those and try to prevent bad things from happening. And if something bad does happen, we call a code blue or we call a rapid response. Those things are where we have immediate personnel coming to assist, right, and to rectify the situation. So the Home All Alone program is a premise to save money. Wow, okay, boo. Yeah, okay, thanks. All right, just checking to see if you're awake out there. Thought I might have to do a little intervention. Someone comes to the emergency room. They say your doctor wants to admit you to the hospital. But we have a better idea. We're going to train your family and we're going to send you home. And don't worry about those blue lips that you have because we'll send home a tank of oxygen with you, right? Just kidding. I mean, that was probably, sorry, dark OR humor. Can't help it. So that means sending them home, and a nurse will check on them twice a day. That's not 24-hour care. That is not decent care. That is profit-driven care. So having said that, the nurses knew, obviously, we figured out in short order, and it's not just Kaiser, it was other corporations as well, that we had to push back, we had to fight back, and we had to do it collectively. And yes, nurses can use technology. We do it all the time, and we used a QR code to circulate a petition, marched on the boss, did a couple of pickets, all of these things, collective action, to escalate and put pressure on the corporation to do the right thing and to stop that nonsense. We temporarily did stop them, but it's always going to come, right? And we want to make sure that as nurses, our profession is assisted by technology, not hampered by it, and it's not going to create worse outcomes for our patients. The studies show, actually, really, any idiot can tell that through common sense, that the more nursing care you have and the more registered nurses at the bedside, the better outcomes you have. But just in case the administrators don't want to look at common sense, there are study after study. There are multiple studies that show this. So having said that, we want to make sure that, and then we did succeed, right? Because when we fight, we win. So I just wanted to say that this is just one example of all of the things that we have done with the multiple corporations taking them on. And thank you for those of you that do come to our picket lines as well. We go to yours. And we kind of do double duty sometimes when we're at your picket lines when it's 110 degrees out there. Just saying. But we're happy to do it, because if you take on one of us, you take on all of us. You take on one of us, you take on all of us.
Thank you, Sandy. Nurses will never go out of style. Sarah, we've heard a lot about SAG-AFTRA's fights and wins today. Tell us a little bit from your perspective as a member what this meant for you, what this meant for your colleagues, what this meant for others whose livelihoods depend on the work that we put in and not on corporate profits, and not on maximizing corporate profits, I should say. So talk a little bit about what the SAG-AFTRA strikes have meant for you, and how you feel about the fight that. I'm losing my train of thought here. Tell us a little bit about the fights that SAG-AFTRA has had over this past year and what that means for you.
Well, I should probably be specific in that as chair of the Interactive Media Agreement Negotiating Committee, we have a strike authorization out currently right now, but SAG-AFTRA does bargain contract by contract, depending on the medium, right? So we had, this incredible precedent set by the successful strike on TV theatrical, but we still have our own fight in this contract, and it's kind of all I can see at the moment. But the consistency is around this need, and I think what excites me is that it's, while there are particularities not only in this contract or just in this type of work performance, but I think in our space, there's a universal need for transparency that provides a basis for informed consent and proper compensation. Like, those themes are so universal. And then there's just the nitty-gritty conversations of how that applies in your particular workspace, in your particular contract, in your particular medium. So I think that having that sense of consistency and solidarity across the union around those principles has been really galvanizing, has been really helpful. And then my particular fight is around what does that look like in the game space, where technology isn't so much a hindrance or an injection, but it's like fish in water. I mean, this is a product that's made of technology. My work as a performer, the qualities of my voice, the features of my face, the expression of my movement, all of that is immediately digested and translated into data that technology then models, simulates, creates this consumer, or this object that you consume, this entertainment that you enjoy. So really, our feeling isn't just like, oh, here's technology, what do we do about it? All of a sudden, it's learning, as actors, how this technology works in a way that we're not maybe native to, but we have to have, in order to have meaningful, productive conversations with developers, we have to catch up and speak their language so that we can find what's an actually practical, feasible, achievable solution that protects workers. So that's been the big fight, at least for us, and it's been a lot of learning. But I'm so proud of my committee for stepping up to that plate and being in really, really detailed talks with developers, with each other, in trying to find those solutions and apply them in bargaining. So yeah, I guess hopefully that approach is answering your question.
It does, thank you. And I think it's a great place to end. We heard about some of the challenges. We heard about how you particularly have been fighting the Kaiser nurses have been fighting to build solutions, to build partnerships with employers. And goes back to say that, we're not against technology. We know when technology is really useful, like the heart monitor, like, the work that you are doing is based on technology. It's a matter of ensuring that all workers have the dignity and the recognition that they are people first and their jobs support them. It supports our economy, and it really keeps this country being the greatest country that it actually is. And so I just wanted to thank you all for sharing your perspective, for sharing your thoughts and your stories today. I also want to say that we honor you, your leadership, and the leadership of all of you in the room, particularly our members, in lifting votes for all people in all industries, not only your own. And so thank you for being here, And thank you for sharing all of this. And we will wrap up the day and maybe have a little celebration with some drinks and some appetizers.